Hello, my name is Tuariki Delamere. I am the Managing Director of TDA and Principal Consultant. Welcome to TDA. I'm also the former Minister of Immigration. Today we're going to have a short presentation on the skilled migrant category for residents, hopefully give you a few tips that will help you through the process. Now, if you're applying for skilled migrant residency, there's only one thing that really matters, and that's the job that you have or have been offered. If you've been offered employment, you will get through as long as you have at least 100 points. And that's pretty easy if you've studied and graduated in New Zealand. And why is that? The minimum points you can get for qualification is 40 points. The minimum points you'll get for your age, if you're under the age of 50, is 10 points. The minimum points you can get for an employment offer that is relevant to your qualification or your work experience is 50, adds up to 100. Quite simple. Achieve that and you will eventually be approved as long as your documentation is all genuine and in order. Now, recognizing skilled employment. First, we go to Appendix 6 of Immigration Instructions that has a list of all the occupation classifications that Immigration New Zealand consider to be skilled. We then check that against the Australia New Zealand Standard Classification of Occupations, or ANSCO for short, to see which of the occupations are skilled and are relevant to what you are doing. Okay, so when we do that, we then choose an ANSCO occupation that is in and on the skilled list at Appendix 6. Now, there are some issues for your recognized qualification. ANSCO has a listing not only of the occupations, but in those occupations they will tell you whether you're needing a bachelor's degree or a diploma or a certificate. Okay, it'll say what is commensurate with your qualification. If you have a job that requires a bachelor degree, you only have a diploma, you cannot be approved. Okay, so remember that. If you have a diploma, there's only about 6 occupations that will get you residency. Now, ANSCO has a lead statement for every occupation. For example, we have here the chefs. Chefs plan and organize the preparation and cooking of food in dining and catering establishments. Fairly straightforward. Then they have a list of tasks and duties. And here we go. There's about 8 or 9 tasks and duties there. To get residency, you are required to be performing a substantial number of those tasks. And immigration are quite rigid on that, and they will go through task by task. Okay? Now, another issue that comes up in the process is your salary. You are required by law to be paid within the market rate. The market rate is the income range from the lowest paid New Zealander to the highest paid New Zealander. Now, TDA have never yet lost a case where we believe our clients meet the market rate. And that's because we use as our reference the census, because it is the only document that records the income for every person working in New Zealand. And what is really great about the information we get from there, it's organized and classified according to ANSCO occupations. So we can get a breakdown in 5 percentile breaks if we want to. And therefore, we know for sure whether your salary is okay. Now, the first step in the process is expression of interest, EOI. That's where you put in your application and you tell the department who you are, what you are, and what you have. Most important in doing this is your job description. You screw that up, you're dead. You're not going to get past the expression of interest stage. Very, very important that it's commensurate with the tasks and duties listed in ANSCO. The other important thing on your EOI, your expression of interest, is you disclose everything about you. It asks if you've failed visa applications in New Zealand and other countries. If you have, put it down. It won't disqualify you from proceeding on. But if you leave it off and immigration find out, in these days you must accept they probably will, then you're going to be declined on character grounds, and you won't be able to appeal to either the Immigration and Protection Tribunal or to the High Court. If you get through the expression of interest, you will receive an invitation to apply, at which stage you're asked to submit all your documents. Immigration will go through and verify those documents. If they're all in order and they match what you claim, then you will be granted residence in due course. However, the reality is that immigration officers will probably write to you about some concerns. They call them points of prejudicial information. Okay, now some of them are fairly predictable, so you don't really want to get a PPI letter, as we call it. So in our cover letter here at TDA, we identify those areas where there may be concerns, and we'll explain why you qualify and meet that criteria, trying to avoid the PPI. So identify possible PPIs and address it in your cover letter. The reason for that is, if you wait till the officer writes to you, you then have to convince the officer that they made a mistake. And hey, officers, human beings as well, people don't like being made to admit they made a mistake. So you get in first, and then you reverse the process. The officer has to explain to you why you are wrong. Gives you a bit of an advantage. Okay? So address them in your cover letter. Now, verification interviews. Hugely, hugely important, hugely dangerous for you. Great risk. An officer may call you on the telephone, they may call your employer, they may turn up at your work premises. What do you do? That's right. You don't answer any questions. Your employer, hopefully, will help you, but what we want them to say is, please put all your questions in writing and I will answer them in due course. You don't want your employer answering questions over the telephone. Very risky for you. You have to be interviewed. However, you don't have to be interviewed then. You are entitled to have your representative present at any interview. That's part of the law and instructions. So tell the agent, the immigration officer, to call your immigration advisor and make an appointment to interview you later. Very important you don't be interviewed right then and there. Very dangerous. Now, the reason for that is the sort of questions they'll ask you will be straight out of ANSCO. Here's a question, there's a task on ANSCO. Question for a shop manager, how do you go about, and the task is there, formulating and implementing the purchasing policies, the marketing policies, and the setting of prices. If you hear that over the telephone, it's a really difficult question. It's difficult for me because I got stuck on formulating. The reason why is you got 2 tasks and 3 targets of the task. Formulating, implementing, purchasing, marketing, setting of prices. So it's actually 6 questions. That's why you don't want to be answering questions over the telephone where you haven't had a chance to prepare yourself. So anyway, that's a quick snapshot of the school migrant process. I hope it's useful. If we at TDA can do anything to help, great, we'd love to see you. Don't give up. Be a Feng Chi, that's our company motto. Thank you.